Good morning. Welcome to Monday Blitz. I am Katela Macy, and I'm joined with, I call him Metro, Alan Nzuki, and of course, Fred Arocho. Karibu sana, Papa.
Thank you very much.
It has been a very busy weekend, EPL, AFCON, SportPesa League. But before we kick off, Arocho, how has your weekend been?
Well, very good weekend. Shabana picked a win against Sofapaka. Things have not been well in Kisii, but happy that we picked that good win. And of course, I was disappointed last night, AFCON, but I think we'll discuss that in depth as we proceed.
Nzuki.
Very excited because
You
Papa
look so
Rocha is
fresh.
annoyed. You know, yesterday, I remember when Brahim Diaz did the Panenka, and Papa was like, what is going on? So beautiful weekend, historic weekend, second AFCON trophy for Senegal. Beautiful game from AFC Leopards. Gor Mahia also showcased their class, so very good weekend indeed.
Starting off with AFCON, let's talk about Senegal's dramatic win over Morocco. Something terrible happened yesterday, Papa Fred Arocho, where coach Thiaw wanted the players to leave the field after he thought the penalty that was given to Morocco wasn't fair, and it brought a lot of controversy. I was with you. Ulisema coach hafai kufanya kitu kama hicho, but we saw what Sadio Mane did, and intervention pia of Diouf. Arocho, to you, Senegal's win against Morocco.
Well, it's unfortunate that it happened. It's unfortunate because soccer has its rules. And I was somehow disappointed by the various Senegalese players, including the coach, who temporarily left the pitch. Well, that is not soccer. Regardless of what happens in a soccer match, you cannot walk out of the pitch. Walking out of the pitch is not an option in soccer. So I was disappointed. It was a very ugly scene, and you'll hear a lot of commentators really, and that's why some people talked about AFCON being a small tournament. You cannot walk, even a village tournament, you cannot walk out of a final, you cannot walk out of a match. What happens, in any case you are aggrieved, you play till the final whistle, then there are several channels to follow. Though the day was saved somehow, I liked how Sadio Mane reacted. He remained in the pitch. He consulted. We saw the various consultations that he had, and definitely, ultimately, justice prevailed, because for me, I think those were genuine calls from the referees. The fact that he called for a foul for the first incident where Senegal scored. For me, I think he was on mark. That was not a goal. The striker, the defender, the striker rather, fouled the defender before the goal. The penalty was a genuine penalty, if you ask me. In fact, there were two Senegalese defenders who infringed on the opponent. So it just describes how we are disjointed as a continent, and I think this is the last time we should be seeing such ugly scenes.
To you, Nzuki.
I have to agree with Arocha on that. You know, there's no way you can walk out of a game, especially a continental showpiece final, even though the referee made the wrong decision, maybe right decision, maybe you cannot walk out in the biggest stage. Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, was there. You cannot do that just 6 months before the World Cup. It's very ashamed. We've lost a beautiful game, and the worst part is that the coach was leading it, not anyone else, not the fans. The coach called on his team to go like this, and then now you have the captain, Sadio Mane, telling the team to come back. So it's just a bad thing, because I expect CAF and FIFA to give a very big ban to the Senegal coach, and maybe even some of the players. We're expecting something big, maybe not a total ban, because there are qualified for the World Cup, it would cause a lot of reaction, but you can never, like Papa Arocho said, even in a high school tournament, you don't walk out of the field. It's an emotional game. You can get mad, it is fine. But there are better ways to address it, maybe an appeal after the game. However, I do understand where they're coming from because it's an emotional game, like I've said. And remember, we always say, Waarabu wanabebonga na referee. So I do get their point of view, and anyone who was watching football does get Senegal's point of view to want to get out, but never should you ever do that. You can react emotionally in a different way. You can fall and cry, do anything else, but never walk out on a pitch. They did a very big mistake, and trust you me, CAF and FIFA are going to come for them very harshly.
Well, just to add on that, I think CAF, I want to blame CAF on this. CAF have been very reluctant to make, to stamp the authority. Look at what happened when Algeria played Nigeria in the quarterfinals. There were chaos, and until now, CAF has not given their verdict. And I can say that CAF is somehow lenient towards certain countries.
Exactly.
When we were playing Chan in Nairobi, we had several issues with the security at Kasarani. Hours after the incident, they had already sanctioned Kenya. They had already given their verdict.
A lot of money.
What has happened since Nigeria played Algeria? We saw chaos. We saw players running after the referee, even into the tunnel. Why is CAF taking long to respond? Because even what happened yesterday, I'll disagree with Nzuki in terms of being lenient because Senegal is going to the World Cup. In fact, that's the more reason why FIFA and CAF should clamp the authority on Senegal. And believe you me, I'm not seeing the Senegalese coach going to the World Cup. They might give him about 3 to 4 match suspension. And if in any case he's given 3 to 4 match suspension, then of course he's not going to be in the World Cup. So once again, guys, Africa is normally criticized to be, with the lack of a better word, a black continent or a continent that is not developed. Yesterday, we almost confirmed the fears of these guys who feel that Africa has not come of age.
Absolutely mediocre.
This cannot happen, and yesterday I criticized it. Well, guys were on my case on the social media. Yeah. But you do say what you want to say. Football has its rules. You have to follow the rules.
Well, I agree on that, with you on that, Arocho, but let's talk about Brahim Diaz, Penanka, as you've said. Some say it was, okay, there was this, you know how social media is. Some say Waarabu waliekelea pesa, akaona, since they didn't want Senegal to leave, so he had to do that, he had to just to give out the penalty. What do you think about the Penanka of Brahim Diaz? Because, man, he would have saved Morocco with that penalty, but again, he chose to do what he did yesterday, Arucho.
That was foolish. Lack of a better word, that was foolish of him. That is a prolific player. He's one of the top players from this continent. He's playing in the Spanish league. He's the top scorer of this tournament. He ought to have scored. He ought to have taken a better penalty. And I saw his coach, even before we moved to the extra time, the coach was really on his case. You are a big player. And you know, big players imagine big moments. You cannot be a big player and you cannot emerge and take care of the whole nation in a big event like this.
On home soil.
So once again, and I even doubt if he's going for the World Cup. Because the kind of negatives that will come with that incident, what was he trying to do? Surely. What was he trying to do? The entire nation is watching, and all their hopes are on your shoulders. Then that for me is foolish. It has nothing to do with soccer. He just became foolish.
Nzuki, what's your take on that penalty?
That is what you call an audacious miss. You cannot do that. Yes, I get he had pressure because the game had been stopped for over 10 minutes. You know, we were in the 110th minutes. That is over 20 minutes of added time. And then now the players have gone out, the players have come back. Yes, pressure, but when you're under pressure, you never panenka the ball. You make sure you're sure. Either you blast it or you place it. But doing a panenka on home soil in the last kick of the game, that is just shameful. And let me tell you what will happen with Brahim Diaz. He will never get over it. It will take him a lot, you know. Remember Saka and Rashford in the World Cup. It will take him a lot to get over that, a lot of mental strength. And don't be surprised if he gets a dip in form in Real Madrid and doesn't play a lot, and eventually not go for the World Cup like Arocho said, and maybe just be loaned out to a small club like Villarreal or come to Aston Villa. I consider Aston Villa a small club, but I'm just saying that might be the beginning of his end. Because I tell you not, Morocco never forgets. Football fans never forget. He will go down in history as one of the worst penalty kicks ever taken in a continental showpiece. Just crazy, atrocious. I can't even describe it, you know. It doesn't work like that. Blast it, piga inje sawa. Piga kando, sawa. Shikwa sawa. But Apanenka, you know, like Edward Mendy just told him, kuja hapa. It is man. Embarrassing in the biggest stage of all, the world is watching. I don't know how he bounces back from that. Don't be surprised if this January he ends up somewhere playing in, you know, probably Leeds United.
Still on the African Cup of Nations finals, we also what Sadio Mane did, and it was very heroic of him yesterday. He refused to come from the pitch, and he tried. He even ran to the changing room to call his teammates back, and I think he was given man of the match. Yesterday, Arocho, to you, he showed he was a true sportsman by what he did yesterday. Well, what was your take on that? Because we also saw Diouf. Diouf talked something to Sadio Mane.
Well, football is not just about winning. And that's where we lose the plot in terms of valuing the game. It's not just about winning. And that one was described perfectly well last night. Mane never left the pitch. In fact, there was about 3 to 4 players, Senegalese players, who had not gone out of the pitch, and Mane was one of them. You remember that he took his time, consulted with the various people around him, senior people. Former Senegalese coach was also there. We saw Diouf, the former Senegalese captain. He had a discussion with them. And once again, I just want to be hard on their coach. He's the one who was calling guys outside. But Sadio Mane is a very special human being. Off the pitch, he does a lot. Exactly. And that one was once again described in how he performed yesterday. Sadio has been a lot of hospital. He's a very humble man. Exactly. He is one of the guys who at Liverpool after the match, he used to go and wash toilets around the stadium, around their playing ground. So he's a humble person, and he's somebody who takes life to be not to be that, you know, you don't take things that serious. He consulted, and he went and called his teammates, guys, we have to come back. And that's when he became a true captain. Remember last night he was not the field captain. Exactly. But at that particular moment when the entire world was watching, he went and told his players, the world is watching us. You know, that's why I felt disappointed with the Senegalese coach, because the entire world was watching this event. And when the likes of the former Liverpool coach referred to this tournament as a small tournament, now, if in any case that final could have not been played to the end, then he could have been vindicated. What he said about this tournament could have come to pass. So once again, guys, all our emotions aside, let's just follow the rule of the game. The game, in fact, soccer is one of the matches that has the rules covering wall to wall. There's no time, there's a gap within the football rules. You saw the referee was just waiting for another 5 or so minutes. He could have blown his whistle. And the Moroccan players could have walked into the podium and picked the gold medal. But God has his way of doing things. Once again, kudos, and for me, he was the hero of the day.
Sadio Mane.
Yes.
To you, Nzuki.
A pure El Capitano. You know, leadership does not come in a night's time, you know. This is someone, Sadio Mane, if you remember in 2019, a photo of him trended, you know. He was holding a broken phone and he was asked why he's using a broken phone, and he's so rich. And he said things like, this don't move me. that is Sadio Mane for you. A true leader. He doesn't care about the material things. And like Arocho said, in Senegal, he has done so much for people. He has built schools, he has built medical centers. He's someone who likes giving back to the community. And in the last 10 years or so, maybe 5, 6, there is no better player than Sadio Mane, arguably Mohamed Salah, but he has been the brand of African football. And he showed it once again yesterday when he chose the team over all those other things. You know, it is okay to lose, but lose like a warrior. And he went back to the dressing room, took his team. I don't know how to say it. It's just pure class, you know. And remember, I said this is his last African Cup of Nations, and then the World Cup, and then he's done. We're going to miss a player like that. Those are not players that are cut off every piece of shot. Those are players who are rare, players who we have to like take care. He will go down in history. And I'm telling you, years to come, our kids will read about him. That historic moment will go down in the greatest top of piles books of history. Just a rare moment, a true captain. Senegal is lucky to have him, and Africa is just so blessed to have such a player. And in his final dance, we wish him nothing but the best. We hope that in the World Cup he might have more success, maybe a bronze medal, you never know.
And still finalizing on the AFCON, we also, Moroccan players, they were crying. I saw Ashraf Hakimi, he was really, really heartbroken, you know, being the host nation and then having a very dramatic final. And you were beaten, only one goal during the extra time. Arocho, what do you think is next for Morocco?
Well, there'll be a lot of changes within the team before the World Cup. As I said earlier, I feel that Diaz needs to give way. He never showed leadership.
Are you saying that because of the missed penalty?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
So the other 5 goals don't mean...
You know, in football, you're as good as your last match.
Right. So
Diaz
being a top scorer in the tournament doesn't count?
Doesn't really count now because, and once again, I'm going to make that reference. You are as good as your last match. Morocco are as good as their previous match. And generally looking at how Morocco performed in this tournament, I think it was an underperformance, for lack of a better word. Look at the way they performed in Qatar during the previous World Cup. It is a team that showed a lot of resilience. I didn't see resilience yesterday. I don't know what exactly happened. I don't know if it came with the home pressure, because at times when you play at home, there's a pressure that comes with playing at home. I hope that they're going to rediscover themselves before the World Cup, because it's just a few months before we move to the World Cup, and we were expecting Morocco to proceed past the semi-finals this time round. But going by that performance, and I'm sure it's going to bring their morale down. It will take a lot to bring back that winning mentality that was there with this team. Remember that this is a team that won the CHAN and has been doing so well in the last 3 or so years, even in their qualifiers. It's one of the teams that qualified with a very good, solid record to the World Cup. So I believe that this should be a turning point. As I said earlier, we are going to see several other players dropping off and of course, gearing towards the World Cup.
It's okay. What's your take on Morocco?
Kachela, I just feel like we're being a bit harsh on Morocco. Remember, this same Morocco is...
Why are you saying we?
Papa Arocho.
Yes.
But I understand where Arocho is coming from.
Okay.
You know? Arocho is a passionate Morocco fan yesterday night.
No. In fact, I made a post earlier and said Senegal straight to the bank. In fact, when this tournament started, I've been a Senegal fan. You go through the files. But one thing about me is that we will not support you when you're wrong. I will never support a wrong thing. Even if I'll remain the only person feeling that the referee was right, I'd rather be.
Back to you,
I feel like Morocco, remember this Morocco is the same Morocco that eliminated Nigeria, the highest scorers of this African Cup of Nations. Yes, they were not as dominant as they were in the last Qatar World Cup, but remember, this is the African Cup of Nations. This is a different ball game from the World Cup. Here, team come and pack the bus on you because they want to make sure your home advantage doesn't count. But I do feel they really missed the likes of Hakim Ziyech and their captain Mohamed Saiss, because they lack that experience, you know. There's this spark of creativity that came with Ziyech and this leadership that came with Saiss, and they just lacked it, you know. But I don't feel like it's going to be much of a scare. They played well, they got to the final. amidst all the pressure. And I feel like going into the World Cup, I'm expecting something better from Morocco, because one thing about Morocco, they learn from their mistakes. You know, they'll not cry about it forever. They'll go back. They've really invested in this thing called football. Because remember, in 2030, they still have the World Cup. In 2 months' time, Arocho will be in Morocco for the Women's African Cup of Nations. It is just pure class in their football, and I do believe like there's no need to tense about it. You know, losses happen. Even the greatest team lose. Manchester United and Alex Ferguson also lost finals. It happens. It's a harsh game. It's a cruel game. It's a heartbreaking game. But no need to panic. I feel like going into the World Cup in 6 months' time, you'll see a totally different Morocco. They'll go back to the drawing board and expect good results. I think they'll make the quarter or the semis. Probably not the final, but once again, expect some class from that team.
No, just to remind him, I don't know what happened 2 hours ago, because we were with him 2 hours ago during the finals. He had a different version of what happened. He was one among the guys who felt that Senegal could have moved out of the pitch. I remember him really saying that the initial goal that Senegal scored ought to have been counted. I don't know what has happened. I don't know if he's been saved 2 hours ago. But this is him and many of fans thought that Senegal were robbed a goal. When you look at that clip, you'll realize that there was an infringement before the goal was scored. And two, the penalty. That was a penalty.
Katela, let me tell you, the history of African Cup of Nations, even CHAN, this was the worst officiated tournament ever held.
Now I like, stay on that point. You know, initially, you know, he's flip-flopping. I need you to take a position. Was that a penalty? Was the goal a genuine goal for Senegal?
Do you think that was a penalty, the one that was...
First of all, let me start with Arocho's question.
Okay.
The goal, that one I agree, correct decision. But I feel the one from...
The goal was not a goal.
Yeah, that was not a goal. We agree.
Good.
But the Brahim Diaz, I feel it was a beat. Let me emphasize on a beat. Corners is a game of contact. We come in the crowd. And it was not like ati alishikwa hivi akaanguka kabisa. And he had no chance of winning the ball, absolutely.
I wish we had. I wish we had that.
Let me tell you.
Clip.
Let me
Yeah.
I remember you two, you are saying that is definitely a penalty.
It was a penalty. I was there. We saw.
Let me tell you. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Both of you guys. Kama kungekuwa na VAR, could have anyone spotted that? Could it?
Can I respond?
Could it?
Ingepatikana kazi ya lines wanaona because alimshika shingo and then
No, can I respond?
Yeah, please.
You know, and that's why I brought this issue, because I feel that he's flip-flopping. When you look, I don't know if we can have that clip on air. There were two incidences. The one that the referee picked, and even when you don't look at that incident, where the Diaz was just hacked, if I would like to use that word.
By Diouf?
By Diouf. And then there was another infringement in front of that incident. That was a penalty, regardless of how you're going to look at it. I don't know if we can have it on air, but that was a penalty. Guys, what I like about sports is you can never change facts. You will never change facts. Even if you look at that clip 10 years from now, when perhaps you'll have gotten yourself together, you will realize that that was a penalty. I don't like this notion that the referee was wrong. That referee was spot on in the two critical incidences. The one that Senegal scored a goal, there was an infringement just before that header, and even that penalty. I once again will say, I know people will fry Arocho, but I don't care. I will tell you the truth if you like it or not.
Let me agree with Arocho on these. Even apart from Diouf, we also even what Sadio Mane, who was holding a player at the 18.
Yes.
He was holding a player. But anyway.
But it happens in every corner.
If
people start falling like that every game, takuwa penalties kila game.
But Diouf alimvuta Diaz. Alimvuta Diaz.
But haikuwa nyongolo atikuja hapa.
Ni nyongolo?
Ni
You know, a foul
it was a nyongolo. A foul is a foul.
A foul is a foul. And this foul was in the box.
You see what you're doing?
How do you penalize that?
The referee has not
No, okay. Was it a foul?
The original decision by the referee was play on.
Wait.
Then Diaz went and started crying.
No.
And now they had to do the VR check. Soft penalty.
Let me ask you a question. Was it an infringement? Was there an attempt
to stop the player
from playing the game?
Absolutely, but not enough for penalty.
It's a matter of yes or no.
Thank you.
Yes or no?
But not enough.
Yeah. Now let's come back to the Sportpesa League. Let's talk about AFC Leopards. AFC Leopards currently are at number 2 with 33 points. All right. They beat APS Bomet.
Last minute.
And we also, last week they beat Tusker 4-0. Arocho, do you think that this season AFC Leopard might win the Sportpesa League?
Well, I think it's too early to say that. It's too early because look at the fact that the contenders, that is Gor Mahia, I'll bring Shabana in here. Tusker is also another contender, though they are conceding a lot of goals. I still feel that it's too early to start relating FC Leopards with this trophy this season. Yes, they've performed so well. Very good comeback in the match they have over the weekend against APS Bomet. Yes, it describes a champion or a potential champion, but it's still too early to start speculating or associating FC Leopards with the title this season. Gor Mahia is also struggling. I was at the match when Gor Mahia played against Muranga. I was very disappointed, and I think this is the right point for me to say this. I think the goalkeepers in this league some goalkeepers need to be investigated. I was not convinced. The first goal that Gor Mahia scored against Muranga, the goalkeeper it was a dubious goal, if you ask me. There's no way a keeper can pick the ball from the air and place it down for a striker to score.
Someone who trains every day.
Yes.
You do that in a game against
top league. Something needs to be done. There was another incident with my team, KCB. The goalkeeper just did magic. I don't know. I cannot explain what he did, but something needs to be done. Our goalkeepers are losing it. I don't want to say that there is much manipulation, but I feel that something needs to be done. The keepers in the top league in Kenya at the moment, 2 or 3 of them are not really giving us good service.
Your take on FC Leopard, do you think they might win the league?
Let me tell you, I've gone to their last 2 games, and if there's a team that plays beautiful football in Kenya right now, it has to be Ingwe. And I just like what the coach has done. He has been patient with his young players. You know what he has done with Kelly Madada? Remember Kelly Madada, when he was dropped from the Harambee Stars, people started talking, you know, ukijana ameisha hivyo, you know, he's not going to regain his high school momentum and all that. But if you look at the Kelly Madada, look at the last minute goal, he was the one who carried the ball into the box. Confidence, and you look at this player, like this player is absolute class. So I feel like Ingwe, like Arocho has said, you know, Arocho has been in the league for over 15 years now. I just feel like it's not yet sure, you know. Of course, Ingwe can be optimistic because they've not won a title in a lot of years. But I do feel come March, it's going to be a 2-horse race between Kogalo and AFC Leopards. Don't rule out Tusker. They might also be there for the race. But I just feel like not yet. They still lack that. Can they be consistent enough? You know, it's one thing to beat Tusker 4-0, then get a good comeback. But what about when the time to get results? That's what makes Gor Mahia champions, because they come clutch time. And just like Arocho said about the goalkeepers, there's no way you can be leading 2-0 and then unashika ball hapa. Not even a high school goalkeeper can do that. In fact, not high school, primary. It is. Imagine now a scout watching that. They'll never want a player from the Kenyan Premier League. That is why our players struggle, because, and the person who scored celebrated. It is just, I can't even explain it. Like Arocho said, there needs to be something, an investigation. It's big. Ile mpaka mtu yamtana jua hiki tu si kawaida. Dangerous.
Before we move on, let's hear what Coach Fred Amani had to say about AFC.
Shukuru Mungu kwa kila matokeo. Niliambia player, niliona tushafungwa, nikaona sasa hizi inabidi risk. Sasa inabidi tu at least Tyson tuingize at least kuna strikers wawili, Omune na Kuloti. Na at least ngambia Kuloti, the only thing inafaa kufanya sasa hizi tuende to stick pale mbele at least tuwa pin kwa afya yao, then ball tuanze kufanya tuanze bypass mid, tuanze kwenda juu. Sasa tulikuwa tumetoa creativity katikati, tumeingiza nini? Tunaona alafu tukabakisha mmoja ule Kelly alikuwa na energy, alikuwa anaweza kuja kupick balls, kuja nazo juu. Sasa nasema it's a good fighting spirit and it shows how champions wanakuja kwa games.
Kwanza nafurahia sana vile wachezaji wangu wamecheza. Tumejituma mpaka hiyo over 90 minutes. So hizo dakika za kuongezea kidogo ndio tumekuja tukakatikiwa. Lakini unaangalia hii ningekuwa na maybe na depth hapo katikati, najua ingefanyika. Baraki ukiangalia wachezaji wangu wa katikati walikuja wamechoka kiasi na singeweza watoa. But ukiangalia yenyewe ni vile tu tumefungua hizo dakika za mwisho, lakini wachezaji wamecheza poa.
Still on the Sport Pesa League, Gor Mahia currently at number 1 with 1 game at hand, 33 points on with goal difference from AFC Leopard. And a game that was talked about so much, I think I was with you, Alan, somewhere where they were playing Murang'a Seal. Nilikuwa nimejambaya sana. But king of comebacks walikuja akapiga Murang'a Seal at 3-2. Arocho, your game, I think you were at the stadium?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, a very good friend of mine told me alikuwa napo study.
Everyone sees Arocho.
Everyone sees Arocho.
I'm always
Let's
there.
talk about this game.
I'm always there.
Of course, Gor Mahia.
Well, Gor Mahia are going through a lean moment, if you ask me. Since Gor Mahia lost against Epi Bomet,
yeah.
I think Gor Mahia has not really come back to the team that we are used to. Speaking about this particular match, just before Gor Mahia played Murang'a Seal, Murang'a had a match with Mathare United. I also had the privilege of watching Murang'a beat Mathare United 2-0 at Mo International Sports Center. And that's the reason why I had to go and watch Murang'a play Gor. Because Murang'a is one of the teams that is currently playing some very beautiful football.
Good football.
I watched Murang'a before Osborne Mande became the head coach. And I'm seeing two different Murang'a Seal. So when I went to this match, I was optimistic to watch beautiful football because I was expecting a lot of good football from Gor Mahia. And of course, Murang'a, as I have earlier stated. But I was so disappointed. The first half was a good match. Gor Mahia did not really rise to the occasion. But minutes after the restart of the second half, the goalkeeper just did something that was outrageous.
Magic.
And that led to the pressure on Murang'a Seal. And they conceded, I think, 2 goals within. Now, this is the game against Mara. I was talking about the other match that you asked me about. I think the goalkeeper just messed up that match. Within 5 minutes, you know, Gor Mahia is a team that you give them an inch, they will take a yard. And that's precisely what they did. And of course, they overturned the scores and won. So I'm looking at Gor Mahia to be a top contender in this league. And once again, as Zuki said, don't rule out Tusker. Don't rule out Shabana, because Shabana is also coming up very strong. Losing 2 or 3 matches at home against Mathare, and there's another match they lost, I think, against Nairobi United. But since then, the team is back, and I believe that the 4 teams, that is Gor Mahia, FC Leopards, Tusker, Shabana, are going to challenge for the title.
Why are you not mentioning Police?
Well, Police are so inconsistent. They are playing today against Nairobi United, but Police is a team that they also need to look into themselves. It's a team that has had a lot of coaches. They've changed a lot of coaches, and it's time now that Police need to stop looking from outside. They need to look from inside. I think there's some problem within the management, because you cannot be changing coaches all time and time again, and then you it's like always pointing at somebody else to be the cause of the problem, and yet you're not looking at yourself. So I think Police is a team that, other than the stability that comes with the chairman, Nyale, I think some problem is biting Police. Look at the coaches that have come at Police. I think they've had about 5 or 6 coaches within the last 2 seasons. And that is inconsistency. They are lucky that they won the league last season, but look at their performance in the African Champions League. You see the way they performed. So it tells you that there's more than meets the eye at Police. And I think It's not the coaches.
To you, let's talk about Gor Mahia, Nzuki.
I don't know if you had a Rosso. He just said if you give Gor Mahia
An inch,
they'll take a yard. That is Papa Fred Arocho, vocabulary at his finest. I just think like he's right, you know. Gor Mahia are so good at taking their chances, you know. You might be 2-0 up and they can give you a comeback. I think that was the first 3-goal comeback of the season. That is how good Kogalo are. And remember, Kogalo are not playing the best of football right now, you know. You can argue that Ingwe plays a better football and also Rangasil play a better style. But one thing about Kogalo is that they have learned to win matches the hard way without their talisman, Austin Odhiambo. It's going to be hard to replace, but I do think they have the capability inside of them to just play the beautiful game and just, they have a way of winning the game. I can't explain it. Wanashindanga tu in a way. So I do feel like Arosho said, they're 4 contenders, but I also feel Nairobi United, despite the inconsistencies, they have nice game in hands. If they take full advantage, they just might get their head in the top, you know, and they can be like, okay, we're going to be here. When you get a chance to pounce, you're going to pounce. If they make mistakes, we are going to capitalize on them. So I do feel it is shaping up to be a very interesting Premier League season. We're going to love it. It's going to be nice. But I do feel one way or the other, Kogalo just have their magic right at the right time. So I do feel like this season, it might go back to Kogalo. And if not, maybe we might be writing history as Ingwe win their first title in a lot of years.
So before we move on to the English Premier League, let's hear what Gor Mahia coach Charles Okono had to say.
Naweza kusema kongole kwa Gor Mahia. Wali deserve the win. I think they were more superior and better than us today. Lazima tuwapatie hiyo pongezi ndio pia sisi tufungue room ya kuweza kuiona mpira kwa nafasi ya pili ili tuweze kukua bora mechi ambayo imefuata.
Well, I want to talk about today's game. We knew we were going to control the game, and so as you can see, we brought in a lot of ball jugglers, Jackson, Alpha, and Pius. They are people who can play, and exactly what we expected is what happened. We control the game. We've given them we have a lot of options, whether to attack from the wider areas, wings, or play in between. And today they have the option to make that decision. They took a very good decision in terms of how we played the first goal from the wider areas and score. So it's been good. We were very, very happy how they processed everything. You know, they were calm. They kept the ball very well. We pushed the ball in a very quick manner, and that is what we expected. We are pleased to have players, at least who listen and doing the right thing.
That was Charles Okono, Gor Mahia. Goalkeeper. But anyway, let's move on to the English Premier League. First of all, I'm very happy on whatever happened during the weekend on Saturday. And still, Arsenal, their last 2 matches, apart from Carabao, they drew with Liverpool. They also got a draw with Nottingham Forest. And some fans say this is how they start losing points. That when Arsenal, when it comes to December and January, this is how they lose points. Arocho, let's talk about Arsenal. Currently at number 1, 7 points ahead of Man City. Number 2, do you think Arsenal wataenda wakipanda ama hivi the draws ndio zinawashukisha?
Well, Arsenal will win the league, not necessarily because they're the best team in the league.
What?
But because they don't have competition. Just before they played Nottingham Forest, Arsenal had won 8 out of 10 matches as they were moving into the weekend against Nottingham Forest. But look at the way they played. They could not get a goal. So once again, I'm saying it with a very heavy heart that Arsenal are going to win, but not because they are the best team in the league. It's because that there's no competition. Look at City. Though I think I'll make a comment when we'll be discussing that Manchester derby. You are a top contender of the league. You don't need to drop points. That is to Arsenal. You cannot drop points at this particular moment against the likes of Nottingham Forest. Once again, you play 10 matches against them, you have won a total of 8 out of 10. And then this is your year, and everybody's expecting you to get 3 points. You don't pick the 3 points. So it is sad that City are also not on form. Liverpool, who are the defending champions, are not on form. So Arsenal is just moving towards the end of the season, winning the league, but because that they are on the top form. They might not be on their best form, but they are going to win this league.
Nzuki, to you. Arsenal wanabeba ama?
I will always disagree with anyone. Anyone, including Papa Fred Arocho, even Arsene Wenger himself, if anyone who says Arsenal can win the league. Let me tell you, they had the opportunity to go 9 points clear. You know, Man City had lost. And then Aston Villa was going to play later. They had the opportunity to go 9 points clear. Do you know what they did? They went and played a goalless draw, not a 1-1 draw, a goalless draw at Nottingham Forest. And it's been a lot of drama happening at Arsenal. Remember Catella? The other day we saw Declan Rice argue with the assistant manager in the Chelsea game, right in the dugout. So I feel there's something going on there, and if they're not careful, let me tell you, it only takes 2 games. 2 games. And Arocha said it, Man City are very inconsistent. Aston Villa yesterday, defeat to Everton, very embarrassing. I just say, yes, they are lucky because the other teams are not playing their best football. But I do feel 7 points just takes 2 games. You just need 2 losses between now and March, and probably Man City or Aston Villa take up their form, and it is done business. So I have to say, yes, they are currently the favorites, but I do feel if these people fumbled over 12 points in March, I feel like it's too early to call them their champions. I feel like when you come back here, April, the points might be marginal. We might be talking of 2 points and 1 point between number 1 and number 3, because this season happens fast. You just need 3 streaks. They have already had 2 draws. Now they just need to lose 2 more. But I do feel like it all comes down to the inconsistency of Man City, Aston Villa, Liverpool and Chelsea, because they're not doing themselves any favors. They're just digging themselves so deep that they can't even threaten Arsenal. So I do feel like, yes, Arsenal have the advantage as of January, but remember, it comes down to a lot. We still have 5 months to go, up to May, and a lot can happen. A single injury to your favorite player, a lot can happen between that time. Mambo inaweza. So I disagree. I don't think Arsenal will win the title. Tweet it, retweet it, because I am absolutely sure. I can bet my phone. 100%.
You've heard that, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's talk about the Manchester derby. First things first, I'm very happy being a Manchester United diehard. Before we talk about Michael Carrick, let's talk about the game that Manchester United played against Man City. Kobe came in. Actually, he started the match, Kobe Mainoo, and he was playing along Casemiro. And to me, it was a very perfect combo. Arocho, let's talk about the game.
Fresh breath.
Yes.
Fresh breath. And that's why I've been having a problem with the 2 previous coaches. Look at when Manchester United have been conceding goals, more so when they are leading. Either the coach will withdraw Maguire, or will try and introduce Maguire. And it's unlike common practice in any level of the game to be withdrawing your central defender. This is the problem that has been happening at Manchester United. I don't want to give credit to that midfield, but I'm giving credit to the backline. That was the solid, was the rock of United in that match. But looking at it on the flip side, I think Man City has never been a challenge to Manchester United. Even when Manchester United is at its worst, they will beat City. Before this match, United had won the reverse match 3-0 against City. And the last time Manchester United...
We lost to Man City.
3-0.
Yes.
The last time Manchester United had lost twice in a season against City, that is the first leg and the second leg, was in 1973-74. What am I trying to say? It is rare for Man City to win twice against United in one season. So once again, I'm going to say, and okay, I like the fact that we are differing with Nzuki. Arsenal are going to win the league, not because that they are the best. Now, that one will be confirmed by the number of points that the winner will have bagged when the league ends. Take it from me, they might not even go past 80 points. And that one will be a bad performance for the league. Mostly, teams win with 90 plus points. There's a time United had about 98 points in the season. But this season, the winner is not going to go past 80 or 85 because, once again, the competition at the top is not that stiff. The guys pushing Arsenal are also not moving. So that's why I don't like it. It's not something that is coming out of my mouth with a lot of ease. Arsenal are going to win, not because they're the best, but because there's no good pressure around them.
Let's talk about the Manchester derby, Nzuki.
Petela,
Yeah.
I've never seen Manchester United play such beautiful football. Let me tell you, if not for Donnarumma, we were talking of 5-0, 6-0. Manchester City were absolutely atrocious, you know. And I hate these Pep Guardiola experiments, you know. I don't know why you'd play Semenyo on the right wing. I don't get it. When Doku was clearly struggling to do anything in the game, why don't you just put Semenyo in his original position and play Chucky? I just feel like with Pep Guardiola, he likes experimenting things in crucial games, and it cost him the game. And I'm telling you, Manchester United, Araujo was given credit to the backline, but I'll give credit to Bruno Fernandes. What that guy does is, I don't know what any player cannot, I don't think anyone in the Premier League right now can do that, you know? Is the link between defense and attack, between midfield and attack. And yes, we might argue that he gets mad, Sana, and Apena Casirica, but that's the thing with Portuguese players. Look at Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, Pedro Neto, Pepe. These are people who have anger issues. Portuguese just naturally have anger issues. But the quality of football that Bruno Fernandes plays, especially in the game against Manchester City, oh wow, what a player. And I believe like under Carrick, I'm not saying like maybe it was new manager fever, but I feel with Carrick, he doesn't overthink it. He just plays it simple and clean. With Kobe Maino, very good game. Casemiro, very good game, though he missed a crazy chance. And I'm telling you, in another game, if Manchester United missed those chances against a team like Chelsea know how to make bad luck good luck. They will pay for those points. So I just feel like if Manchester United can keep playing that way, they might end up at least in a guaranteed Champions League position, which is good considering all the chaos happening around Manchester United. And from that, they can just get a chance to build on. But overall, one of the best performances of the season. If not for Donnarumma, like I said, 7-0. And once again, I have to disagree with Araujo. Hata ligi wachawi watoke huko Kisumu waende England wazunguke Emirates, Arsenal will not win the league. If they did not win it with Sanchez, Giroud, Lacazette, how can you win it with Gabriel Martinelli or Martin Odegaard? No, can never happen.
We'll be here with you, Season Kisha. We'll be here. Now let's talk about Michael Carrick. The moment I saw the lineup, I was so impressed. If you look at the defense, if you look at the midfield, the attacking, I was very, very much impressed because Luke Shaw dominated Semenyo, and Diogo Dalot made Jeremy Doku's day so hard. Araujo, let's talk about Michael Carrick. Do you think they should keep him as the manager? Do you think he can bring changes to Manchester United? Because we talked a lot about the previous coach, Ruben Amorim.
Well, I think it will be a wrong move to have him as a full-time coach, because currently he's an interim coach. Why am I saying so? He's still very young. United needs an experienced kind of a coach. Though I can attribute his success at United with the fact that he knows the philosophy. You know, football, unlike many other games, philosophy is very important. Carrick was a player at United for more than 10 years. He's somebody who knows the tradition and once again the philosophy of the best of Manchester United. And that's what happened over the weekend. But having him as the head coach might be too much for him. I believe that, or I think that if in any case Manchester United would like to retain him, they would retain him as an assistant coach, so that whoever comes in, the experienced coach who comes in, will have somebody to help him bridge and get to know more about the philosophy, because philosophy is very important. When you look at Arteta, for example, he was at Arsenal, so him being at the helm, he's just following up the philosophy. He's just picking from where the best of Arsenal left. So it might be too much for Carrick to be named as the head coach, but I'd suggest that he be given an assistant role while they shop for a substantive coach who must be experienced. What has been causing problems at United is the number of coaches who have come, the Amorims of this world. Yes, he was experienced at the level where he was, but United is a totally different ball game. The kind of budgets that they have, the kind of players that you're going to manage is out of this world. So you need to have somebody who will fill into that gap, not somebody who will come in and perhaps get mesmerized by the players or the kind of budgets that are around United. So that one needs an experienced coach, a coach who has been on that level, perhaps been at Madrid, been at Bayern Munich, been at Chelsea, big clubs with big expenditure and big moments.
To you, Alanzuku, before we finish up.
Just like Richard said, he has a lot of philosophy. Working under the greatest ever coach, Alex Ferguson, he comes with that discipline, that mentality that, you know, we are going to play our game the Manchester United way. Because like Richard said, Manchester United is like walking into an ocean. It is so toxic, a lot of media pressure, a lot of fan pressure, a lot of disagreements within the board. So you have to be an authoritative figure. So I don't back him as a permanent coach next season. I do feel they need someone who can deal with the players' egos, someone who has the authority to tell someone like Bruno Fernandes, nah, we're not going to do this your way, we're going to do it my way. A total disciplinarian. That is what Manchester United need. But I do think for the remaining part of the season, Carey can just do an excellent job of bringing the culture back to Manchester United, you know, for what Manchester United was known for. Never giving up, last-minute goals, a lot of discipline, a lot of tactical mentality. So I do feel like he has all the tricks, he has all the experience, the right mentality, but I feel like Manchester United is a little too big for him right now. I feel like after Manchester United, based on his performance, he might get another job next season, maybe at a mid-level club, and then probably 3 years from now, maybe he can go back to the top of his game, or somewhere in Germany like Vincent Kompany, and then you never know. But I do feel for right now, Manchester United needs someone who has authority, someone who is a disciplinarian, tactician, and very calm and can handle the pressure of being at Stretford End.
Well, there you have it. Thank you so much, Papa Fred Arocho. Thank you so much, Metro, a.k.a. Nzuki. And ladies and gentlemen, it has been the Monday Blitz. I am Katala Messi. See you next Monday.